All right. We are back.
We're back.
Once again. We have not been canceled from YouTube, which is a good thing. Surprising. Very surprising. How are you feeling, Dan?
Well, I am feeling just absolutely great. What about you?
I'm kind of great too, I guess.
You seem a little chipper today.
I'm doing okay. I'm at moments of peace and calmness, and I'm just trying. I hate that word try. I am just doing my best to have a good time, I guess.
Now, did something bring about these feelings, or is this just it's just the mood of the day?
No, I mean, I think it's a good question. I think, there's so much craziness going on in life, and everybody's lives are so complicated nowadays that the only thing you can really do is just try and find your inner peace, and, whatever other bullshit is going on in your life, just try and let that go, Do the things you can do, appreciate the journey along the way, whatever fuck-ups come along with it, or whatever pain comes, just let it be. Just keep on moving.
Keep on moving, dude.
Got a completely different outlook on life now. I'm gonna wear a toga. I'm gonna put on a little Rasta hat. I'm gonna smoke absurd amounts of weed. I'm just gonna be constantly high forever.
Yeah.
I'm playing. I don't even smoke weed anymore, so you on the other hand. There's something to be said though. I mean, I think that you can use substances as tools for sure. I don't judge anyone that can be high and operate and do things on a day-to-day basis. That's a strange concept to some people though. Some people, they get high their first time and then they can't imagine how anyone, does anything in that kind of state of mind. But I mean, some people, I think if you get used to it, I guess. There's people that have accomplished a lot on weed.
Yeah, like Albert Einstein.
Albert Einstein smoked weed?
Friedrich Nietzsche.
Who's that? I don't know who Friedrich Nietzsche is.
I don't know either.
Just pulling names out of your ass.
I think he was a philosopher.
That's right. I think, yeah, you're right. That name does sound familiar. I feel like that was somebody that was brought up in an English class or a psychology class.
Sounds German to me.
The last time, so we have been getting some comments on these videos. They all come from aunts and uncles.
Friedrich Nietzsche.
That one too. He commented on the video and he said that our sound quality sucks. I just want to say that, you're more than welcome to invest in our podcasts.
Yeah.
Donations are welcome. If you want to contribute to getting us in a proper studio where we can compete with the likes of monsters like Jake Paul and Logan Paul and whoever else does crappy podcasts, we'd definitely be happy to accept your donations. Should I give them my phone number?
Yeah, we're accepting any amount you want to give.
So I don't know if you guys noticed, but Dan's starving. He literally has not eaten in days. He really needs some food. If you contribute to this podcast, not only will you help us better the podcast, but you'll also feed a starving man.
I don't have any food.
I mean, would people say that's offensive though? If you said you were starving, right?
Well, since I'm a white male with a beanie and who always wears a beanie, I would have to say I'm probably at the biggest forefront to get like assaulted after a comment like that?
Oh, you know, I was in Seattle and my girlfriend made a comment like that. I was eating like this corn dog because she's obsessed with these like weird, like breaded and like sugary corn dogs. They're actually kind of good. Like they look kind of gross when you hear about their ingredients. Like it's like a corn dog, but it's got like powdered sugar on it, and they like stuff it with cheese or other different types of food and ingredients. And I was eating it in this parking lot in Seattle, and this dude, I don't know if he was living in his car or not, but I was eating it, and like he was kind of like he was making like weird comments while I was eating. Like he was just talking to us like while we were eating outside in this parking lot, and we were kind of ignoring him. But like I dropped a little bit of my corn dog, and my girlfriend was like, you know, she just made a joke like, oh, you know, you just wasted food that like starving kids would want. And the guy was like, why would you joke about that? He said something like that. He was like, why would you joke about that? I was a starving child. And I'm like, it's just like, nowadays you really have to be careful about what you say. Or you can just not give a fuck, right? Like, almost anything you say or do is going to be scrutinized or held against you. And I feel like I'm beating a dead horse because so many people talk about this. But it's true. It's like once you censor speech and once you censor what people have to say, even if it's the wrong kind of speech, like you open up this door and China is on the other side, like, come over here.
Pandora's box.
Did you hear about how they have concentration camps for Muslims in China?
I did.
Yeah, I was like, so we want to model ourselves based off of suppressing countries and philosophies like, you know, dictators and communism and all that wonderful stuff. It'll be interesting to see where it goes. I want to see America go so far down that woke hole that we're currently in. Like, I want to see them go all the way. And then I'll come out of my apartment and I'll see the world is on fire. And there's like, you know, some like white dude with glasses, you know, beaten and naked in the streets with like a Joker smile on his face. And you'll just be like, you can't say that. You can't say that. And in the meantime, there's like bombs just dropping from planes, and you know, everybody's stealing Nikes from, you know, the mall, and I'll just be sitting there just watching the world on fire. Like, I knew this is where it was going.
See Jake Paul running around the streets of LA with a garment made out of Floyd's shoelaces and expensive hats.
He's got Mayweather's hat on. He's just laughing right before, you know, like a group of like empowered, like overweight people execute him. He's just laughing. He's like, haha, I still have the hat.
They still have that.
And then like this 300-pound like woman with a buzz cut comes up to him and just shoots him in the head. Says, this is what you get for making fun of fat people.
I feel like that'd be a righteous thing.
That'd be a righteous thing.
In the name of all fat people.
Is it wrong to encourage people to lose weight? Because you lost a lot of weight. Like, you used to be kind of heavy, and then you lost a lot of weight. And you've gone through, like, these moments where, like, you get yourself in shape, and then you kind of lose it, but then you get back into it. It's sort of like a revolving door. Do you think it's offensive when people, like, fat shame people? Or, like, because I think it is, but, like, I'm just, like, there's this weird gray area where it's, like, is it wrong to remind someone to get into shape because they care about their health? Or is that fat shaming?
I think it's how you address it. It's like, I don't think you should go around being like, hey, you fat fuck, lose weight. I think that would be a little rude. And in the end, maybe detrimental to that person losing the weight. But if you really are coming from a place of like, hey, I care about you, I want to see you here for a long time. Maybe they've gotten really bad about, just their eating habits, and this extra weight is doing them no good, and maybe you encourage them to get on a different path. Yeah, that's my political stance on the matter.
Your political stance on people who are overweight?
Yeah, let's say that.
Are you really tired today, Dan?
I'm
As you yawn.
I'm tired.
Have you been getting much sleep these last couple of days?
I live on about 5 hours of sleep every day.
I used to be on that. I used to get up at 4 in the morning, and I would go work by 5 o'clock, teach classes at a gym until about 9 or 10 or 12, anywhere between 9 to 12. And then by 1 o'clock, I would go work at this children's theater company. Did I ever tell you about this?
What?
Did I ever tell you that I used to work for a children's theater company?
I think you might have mentioned it, but what's the full story?
Well, I worked there for a little while. Like, I didn't work there for too long, but I worked there for like a couple of weeks. And like, what the job was, from my understanding, was it was a 1099 position, which I didn't think about. I just knew that I was going to get a $500 stipend every week. So I was like, oh, that's an extra $2,000 a month on top of what I'm already making. So I took the job under the impression that I was only going to be working like, 6-hour days, which wasn't too bad because I was only working like 4 other hours during the day when I was teaching classes. But I did this children's theater gig, and it turned out that I was actually working like 10 to 12-hour days. And I had no idea. Like, the most I was told I was going to be working was like 8 hours. But instead, like, one time I worked like 14 hours straight. And I was like, I did the math, and I was like, this stipend is dog shit. Like, I'm literally getting paid like $7 an hour. So I called out the woman who managed the theater company. I was like, look, like, you can't be like paying people like $7 an hour. And she was like, no, it's okay. Just stay on with the production. We'll take care of you at the end of it. And like, this was like, when I called her out, we only had like 3 days until the kids like performed The Lion King. So I was like, all right, I'll just stay on.
The circle of love.
Which, by the way, I'll talk about the kids and how they acted in that play. But the first thing I want to say is this woman, right, who told me that she was working for this nonprofit theater company. It was all about the children, and the reason why the pay was so low was because they're just trying to make it about the kids and put as much money into that as possible. This woman showed up in a fur coat to like a preschooler's rendition of The Lion King. Like, she wore a big ass fur coat.
Fox.
I don't know. I just know that like if someone supported PETA there, they weren't, there were no PETA supporters at this performance. Otherwise, she would have walked out there just covered in lamb's blood. But yeah, she wore like a giant fur coat. She had like gold earrings. Like, she looked like she managed like a rap group. Like, she had big gold earrings, like rings, a gold bracelet, a big fur coat. And then there's like these like 7 to 8 year olds up on stage, like singing The Circle of Life. And one kid was like crying. Like, you could see her, like, all the kids started singing. They're all off note. And like, they're like, the circle of life, it's the circle. And then this kid's just like, you could see her face, like, before she started to cry. Like, before she even started to cry, you were like, this kid's gonna cry. And then she was just like, and she started crying, and then like someone had to come out. Like, I think her mom came up and like grabbed her and took her off stage. And all these kids are singing while this girl's just being carried off. And the kid who played Scar Like, I mean, like, there were some kids where you were like, okay, like, this girl's talented. Like, she can actually sing. She might go somewhere. This is kind of cool. But then there's, like, you know, like, they're kids. So, like, their acting is, like, you know, like, there's, like, this kid who's playing Scar, and he's like, no, Simba, don't kill me. I'm your friend. And I'm just like, this isn't very good. Simba, no. Simba, I'm not the bad guy. I had to watch this performance 4 times. And bear in mind, I also had to watch it during the rehearsals too. So the whole time I'm just watching these kids. And a lot of them like didn't even want to do it. Like a lot of them just like jumped on my back and were like, do push-ups. Because they knew I was strong. Like this was back when I was like lifting lots of weights and they were like, come on, Hercules, do push-ups. And I'm just like, okay, I can't. Y'all can't keep doing this to me. Like I'm doing hundreds of push-ups a day. Like that kid over there is fighting with the other kid. Like I gotta break this up. They're like, no, push-ups, push-ups. Ben, this guy pushed me. I'm like, guys, I can't. I was nice to the kids. Like they really liked me. And I got feedback from the parents and I got, you know, good comments from, you know, people who I was working with. So, you know, that's all fine. But I can't imagine working with children. Like, could you work with children? I couldn't imagine doing it anymore.
I feel like I could. I'm pretty just like, I am a child.
You are a child?
I'm a big child.
Yeah, but you don't have to, like, think about it. Like, if you're working with a child, right? Like, let's say you're a nanny, where you work at preschool. More than likely, you're gonna have to change, like, lots of dirty diapers. You gotta deal with kids fighting with each other. And then kids don't really know what to do. Like, kids just push each other. Like, when I was a kid, I put crickets in my pocket. They were just fine crickets. And I was like, oh, this cricket's my friend. I put him in my pocket. I'd play with him later. And I'd reach into my pocket. It was just a smush cricket. It was just a mesh of cricket guts and shit in my pocket. And I'm gonna be like, what happened to my friend? And like, you know, I'd forget the crickets were in my pocket. So mom would like put the clothes in the washing machine. And if the crickets didn't just jump out at her, she'd end up just washing these crickets. So then I put the same pair of pants on again and it'd just be full of like cricket guts. I'm just like, my friends! And I'm just, now I look back at that and I'm just like, I was such a lonely child. I was so lonely. If I was trying to be friends with crickets, what does that say about me?
It probably means you're a sociopath or something.
Don't say that. Don't say that. I didn't mean to hurt the crickets. I just wanted to take them home.
Well, the fact that you thought they were your friends after you had already brutally murdered them and tortured them in your pocket for hours shows a lack of empathy towards the crickets.
No, I thought they were still alive. That was the thing. Like, I'd catch them. I'd be like, look at this cool cricket. Like, some of them had, like, cool colors.
You couldn't feel their dead, lifeless bodies not hopping in your pocket anymore.
You know, what's funny is sometimes they would hop out of my pockets, and I remember they would hop out at random times. Like, one time this cricket, like, hopped out of a pocket, like, during this party that mom and dad had brought me to. And all the adults are just like, what the hell? There's crickets coming out of his pockets. I'm just like, he's my friend.
Think you want one?
I just had like, I don't know. I had lots of anxiety when I was a kid, so I don't think I really related with a lot of children. Because I was like this hyper creative kid. And like, I just was like, I wanted to like, I'd watch a movie, like Home Alone, and I'd be like, I want to be like Macaulay Culkin. Like, I want to stop some robbers from coming into my house. And they had like set up like a bunch of like Hot Wheels cars on the floor, and then somebody's parent would like slip on them and be like, what the fuck?
Dude, yeah, I remember I set up a bunch of books by the door one day when a babysitter was watching us, and it was a very lackluster trap, dude. She opened the door, all the books got knocked over, and she's like, "You gotta clean this up. There's like 80 books on the ground, and they're all these like big picture books, and I think a couple of them got ruined." She's like, "What am I gonna tell your parents? You're supposed to read these. I'm supposed to read these to you."
Yeah.
And then she showed me her titties. No, I'm kidding. That would be really cool, but.
But see, that's the kind of stuff people do when they're kids, because kids are like irrational. Like kids are like little monkeys. Like what you see in the zoo, like what you see with monkeys like playing with their poop and like sticking their hands up their ass and like smelling it. That's exactly what babies do. Like little toddlers, they poop their pants and they're just like, "Oh, what's this? Smells weird. Kind of smells good. Not very good tasting." And then the adult's just like, what am I gonna do with you? You're putting your hand in your pants and eating your poop.
Sometimes I fall asleep in my underwear and get a little itch in the middle of the night. You scratch your butt, you know, and next thing you know, you're sleeping with your hand right here, and you're like, "Why do I smell ass?" "Oh, that's my ass."
This was when you were a kid?
No, that's like every day.
That's like every day.
Still happens.
Still happens. I mean, your hygiene definitely gets better as you get older, for sure. Kids just aren't very hygienic. Like, they don't understand that there's this whole world of germs out there, and they want to like attack you and like make you sick, because that's how they survive.
And you have to become friends with the germs, and you have to make little conversations with them, like, "Hey, germ."
Is that what you do, Dan?
Yeah. I invite the germs onto me because I want to see what the end result will be.
Is that what you...
Because if I die, then maybe I can be like some sort of like scientific specimen, you know? Like they can, I don't know. I'm tired. I'm going down the road of no turns.
Are you gonna fall asleep at some point during this podcast?
I actually might just black out and turn into Mr. Jekyll, and next thing you know, you're dealing with that, so.
Wonderful.
Shout out to all my friends who took care of me when I was blacked out. You did a horrible job.
You did a horrible job. You know, even when I think even up until your 20s, like most people don't really have their shit together. Like you don't really become your own until you're about 25. And then that's when like when you start realizing the consequences of all your past decisions. I wonder if that happens to people when they turn 50 as well. Like the next 25 years afterwards, they're just like, "Oh shit, I just spent like 25 years like becoming an adult, and this is who I am now. This sucks." Like I wonder if it comes in waves of like 25 years old. Because that's what happened to me. Like by the time I was 25, I was like, "Oh, this is serious."
A quarter century, bro.
Right? Like that's a long time. It's really nuts to think along those terms. Like I've been on this planet for that long. And I'm not even like old. Like most people would still be like, "Oh, you're young." And I'm like, don't feel that way. I do feel like a teenager though, because you know, I take good care of myself. I exercise a lot. I take a lot of vitamins. I, you know, take care of my face. Did I tell you when I went to Los Angeles and one of the first times I was doing like background work, because I signed up for like a background service. They would get you jobs regularly. It's called, God, what is it called? there's a name for this company, but there's this company in Los Angeles where they like hire you to be background actors. So you're like the people that walk back and forth like in front of the camera while like the main actors are talking. So I did.
Were you ever a background in Bull?
What's that?
Were you ever a background in Bull?
In Bull?
Yeah, the TV show Bull.
I don't think so. Why?
Sitting in the courtroom in the chairs and just going like, whenever Benny Cologne just drops a big fact on the person there.
I don't think so.
Alright, continue, sir.
No, I was like 20. I was pretty young. Like I was still like, I think I was like 23 or something like that. Maybe younger, but I sat in this chair while like the makeup people were like doing my makeup, and like one of the women there was like, "So you want to be an actor, huh?" And I was like, "Yeah, I want to be an actor." And she was like, "Well, you need to take care of your face, because the only thing they're gonna see on camera is your face. And if they don't like your face, then they're not gonna watch you." And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, this is how people talk to each other? So absurd. It's weird when you live in Los Angeles because you think that people are gonna be really kind, because that's sort of like the whole, that's like the whole progressive, like that's the meaning of, right, of being progressive, right? Like this whole progressive culture and this whole acceptance culture, it's all about being nice and not hurting people's feelings. A lot of like liberal philosophies, and like you go out there thinking that that's how people are gonna be. But I gotta tell you, like some of the meanest motherfucking people in the world are in Los Angeles. A lot of them work in the same industries where they're saying like, be accepting of everybody, be nice, be kind. Every time I was on set, there were at least like 5 assholes. There's so many assholes in Los Angeles, it's ridiculous. Not to take away from Los Angeles, like it could be a great place, but it's just there are too many assholes, and there's a lot of ego and a lot of like hypocritical behavior. Like it's like the same person that's like on TV like accepting an award and being like, and I did this for all the people who are oppressed and blah blah blah. And then that same person will be like at a restaurant trying to get the waiter fired because they just don't like how they look. True story. These are facts.
Now, if you were the waiter and they started commenting on your appearance when you're just delivering them their fish and chips or something like that, would you throw the fish and chips at them?
No, but I
think I might trip and drop it on their significant other.
Like, oh, I'm sorry.
Like, oh, I guess I don't get a tip. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I told you about how I met James Franco, right?
I think you did.
Yeah.
The bathroom story?
Yeah, the one where I was at the bar and James Franco showed up and like he was like giving me like flirtatious looks and I just ignored him. So I think that if I'm in situations where I don't like the vibe of the person, I stay away. Like, I met Peter Dinklage. He was awesome. I just didn't know who he was at the time, and I thought he was trying to like smoke my weed. So I was a little standoffish, but I was still nice to him. Because I really just wanted to smoke this blunt, and I was super broke at the time, and like I was like, I want to smoke as much of this blunt to myself as possible. And then Peter Dinklage is like right here, and he's like, it's gonna be really, really hard to make it in this town. And he was just being honest with me. Like, I didn't realize that at the time. Like, I was like, oh, this is gonna be easy. Because I was at the W Hotel, it's a few months into my LA experience. Like, I'm on the balcony of some party. I'm wearing a tank top, not really giving a shit, just smoking this blunt with all these big wigs. And this guy's just giving me facts about how hard it's going to be in this industry, and I just didn't care. But he was cool. And then I met Josh Duhamel. Josh Duhamel, the guy who was with Furry.
North Dakota boy.
Yeah, he's from North Dakota. He told me that. We were talking about that. He's a really nice guy. I talked to him, like, I just chain smoked cigarettes with this guy for like 15 minutes. Went through like 5 cigarettes. Just, oh, you're from North Dakota? That's really cool. Do you
Yes.
want a mint?
Hot rail any tweak?
Hot, what?
I don't know.
What are you talking about?
Thought that was the choice of preference in North Dakota.
Nah, but see, he was nice. But then I met James Franco, right? And like my whole life, like I was like, I really would like to like meet James Franco. Like I was like, he was someone that I really liked from like Pineapple Express and like a lot of the movies he had done. I thought he was really talented. And then I met him and I just got a really weird vibe from him. So I didn't even talk to him. I didn't acknowledge he was there. I didn't acknowledge that he was giving me weird, flirtatious looks. I just walked away.
You might have ended up in one of his independent films.
Well,
the dude shitting in his hand.
What are you talking about? Oh, you're talking about Child of God.
I am.
Yeah, that movie. See, I met Scott Hayes too, and Scott Hayes was he seemed pretty nice because he came into the class I was at.
You know what my favorite role of his is?
What's that?
When he gets murdered and there will be blood.
Oh, he does?
Yeah, he's the estranged brother who shows up and
Oh, he's that guy.
yeah.
Wow. Yeah, There Will Be Blood is a good movie. That's a powerful movie.
That's a good shout out to Daniel Day-Lewis, bro. My name's Daniel too, so I feel some sort of connection there, bro.
Maybe Daniel
Anyways,
Day-Lewis
that's a
will
comment.
maybe he'll see this podcast and then he'll get in touch with you.
Yeah, just take me under your wing for like a year. Knit me a sweater. I swear I won't steal a lock of your hair.
Yeah, you'll just yeah. You know his process is that he sits in a room for an hour and he just pretends he's the person he's playing. That's his process.
Sometimes I do that before I go to work.
You're just mentally getting ready.
Yeah.
To be the guy that goes to work.
I'm like, hopefully no one decides to shoot up the goddamn warehouse tonight. I think I'll pretend to be a really nice guy.
Do you ever worry that that's something that might happen?
All the time.
Why?
Oh, because people are so unhappy at that job.
Is it a terrible job?
It's not terrible in the sense that, like, it gives you some form of accomplishment, right? Like, you're not just sitting in a cubicle or doing nothing. It's like, yeah, we're making solar panels for people. I think that's a pretty big thing to do for a company, but at the same time, I also don't want to get fired, so I hope nobody from work is fucking listening to this shit. If you are, fuck off. Keep it secret. Don't rat me out. I got dirt on you too. Okay, anyways. I don't think it's the worst job. I just think sometimes the communication between supervisors and the employee gets lost. And we have these things called, let's just call them company bucks, right? And you save them up and you can redeem them for gift cards and stuff, right? Well, I turned my company bucks in, I think it was 3 weeks ago. Still haven't got my motherfucking gift card. It's really starting to piss me off. I want my fucking Fred Meyer gift cards, bro.
What about that gift card you got me that dude in Arizona stole the information for?
I just spent $15 on a fucking iPhone fax to fax him the information, and he said, "Sir, they will contact you in 2 to 3 days." That was Monday. If they don't contact me today, tomorrow they're gonna get a very angry Dan on the phone saying, "Yo, fuck you. I want my gift card." Or you could do it. Since, I mean, it's your gift. I don't know. I've called them about 500 times.
What have they told you?
Well, first they said I could mail the information to them, and I did. And apparently that letter got fucking lost, which is great because it had my, like, a copy of my photo ID, which is great, dude. Just having that be out there. Some mailman's probably trying to steal my identity right now. That's awesome. Good luck. I got $50 in my bank account. Yeah, I don't know. And then they told me I could fax it, so I was like, alright, so you guys, I know you didn't lose the mail or whatever, but that information's out there, great. So I faxed it to them. I had to fax them 7 pages of shit. Same shit. And he said, oh yes, the fax was sent. It'll take 2 to 3 days. I was like, okay.
And that was on Monday.
That was on Monday.
Wow.
So now it's Wednesday. I will call on Thursday.
Isn't that crazy that like you can get a gift card and like someone, as soon as you activate that gift card, because we should explain the situation.
What was that dude's name who stole that information?
I think it was Mario.
Shout out to Mario. You fucking piece of shit. Like, I was just trying to buy my brother a gift. I don't know what you bought. But fuck you. Fuck you, Mario. You were always a giant name in my childhood. I don't know how I feel about you red coat motherfuckers anymore.
Well, we should explain. So you got me a Visa card, a Visa gift card. I activated it. And then a week later, when I was checking to see how much I had on it, because I was going to use it to buy something on Amazon, someone else by the name Mario, or something like that, from what I remember, used it to buy $100 worth of stuff on Amazon. So then I called up one of the customer service representatives and they were like, oh, we can't talk to you because technically this card is under someone else's name. And I was like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, this was my gift. And then the woman laughed at me. Like, her name was Tracy. Shout out to Tracy. She was like, ha 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 ha. Yeah, I've been here a long time. I've been here a long time. And if you think you're going to get me in trouble, you're wrong. Like, some shit like that. And I'm just like, great, you've been a customer service representative for fucking 50 years or some shit. Like, why are you laughing? I should be laughing at you.
She's clinically psycho at that point.
She's definitely got some problems.
It's the only thing that keeps those call center people alive is their imaginations of murdering everyone they ever talk to.
Because they're so unhappy with just, you know, getting shit on by angry customers all day.
Well, yeah, if you think about it, all day, for 8 to 10 hours a day, you listen to people's complaints. Eventually, you stop fucking caring. Then you start going home. Maybe you have a wife and kids. Maybe they start complaining. Then what happens, Ben?
That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point.
These are the things that keep me up at 8 in the morning when I get home. I'm trying to think of my garden growing of my mind. And then all of a sudden, oh, I'm not going to go down that road.
Is it a dark road, Dan?
Oh, it's very dark. Sometimes it can be dark. Sometimes it can be really nice.
I'm having like a hard time trying to get comfortable sitting down on this leather couch. It's a nice couch. It's just I like as soon as the camera's on, I'm trying to relax. Like I'm trying to you know, slouch and just relax. But like in the back of my head, I'm like, I need to sit upright because if I don't, I'm gonna have like back pain tomorrow. And then I look at myself in the camera and like the top of my head is gone.
So I
just
slump,
chill,
bro.
You just slump it out.
Slumped like Slumdog Millionaire.
Slumped like Slumdog.
Shout out to that kid for jumping in a giant pool of shit. I know that wasn't easy, but he did it.
Was that an actual pool of shit? It can't be. That would be like They never allow you to do that in a movie. Someone would complain.
Maybe it was dog shit. I don't know. They tried to drown a dog on A Dog's Life movie, so.
I don't think that was actually true though. I think that was like they didn't get the whole entire footage, and there was something wrong. Like they were like,
they're like, Fido, get your bone. Here, we'll help you.
Push him into
Put
the
you
river.
into the water. And he's obviously fighting this motion, so.
It doesn't look good.
It doesn't look good.
But I did hear that was like they were missing certain context and footage.
Maybe Dennis Quaid was remembering how his grandpa shot the litter of dogs when he was like 4 years old or something. This is a fabricated story, by the way. He's like, just drown the fucking dog. We'll get another one.
That's bad.
He's like, I wish I was on the Rookie again. Felt like I was doing something back then.
You're talking really quietly. I'm wondering that when we go back to watch this podcast, if it's just going to be me talking like this, and it'll be you like.
It's probably better you hear nothing that I've said, because I don't think any of it's been positive. I'm in a really dark mood today, dude.
I was gonna say, I mean, like we're both wearing all black, but
Look at me. I look like Johnny Cash's illegitimate son who got into Nike apparel and Carhartt beanies.
I was gonna say we both look like we belong in Seattle with a bunch of Antifa protesters.
Probably still get pepper sprayed.
Nah, because if they did that, then they just like make another story about police brutality in Seattle. They'd be like, and this time they pepper sprayed a bunch of boys who weren't doing anything. And then it's like you look at the actual footage, and it's like a bunch of boys like setting a Starbucks on fire. They're like, that was justified. It's like, how's that?
They didn't put cream in the coffee.
Yeah, and they'll say something like that. They'll be on CNN and they'll be like, now listen, they didn't put cream in the coffee, okay? They didn't put cream in the coffee.
Have you ever gone to Starbucks and paid $26 for 24-ounce latte?
It doesn't have
Soy.
any cream.
Oat milk, and they give you almond milk? I tell you what, it's these things that just don't make America right anymore.
And meanwhile, on Fox News, they'd be like, the police were completely justified. And like everybody at home who's watching this is just getting dumber by the second.
That's the point of this podcast. Lose yourself to your inhibitions. Like, just fuck it. No bullshit, right? No bullshit.
No bullshit. Just do whatever you want. Whatever. You want to
Exactly.
watch Fox News?
You gotta put a liability thing at the bottom of this. It's like, please don't kill people. Please don't incite riots. Please don't do anything out of the ordinary of your usual day-to-day life. Unless you are doing those things, then please stop.
Yeah. There's something to be said about taking responsibility, right? Taking responsibility for your actions. I don't know why I looked into the camera while I said that. I thought that would be a cool thing to do.
Be respectful, but also be authentic, you know? Like, if you find yourself wiping somebody's ass, maybe get your hand out from under the toilet bowl where they're shitting. That's what I said.
I feel like that's deep and extremely gross at the same time.
It reminds me of a Death at a Funeral when Tracy Morgan gets his hand stuck underneath the uncle.
Oh, yeah.
And then they just had to take it a step further by literally showing Tracy Morgan going, "That's poo! That's poo! It's on my face! Oh God, it's on my face!"
That was actually kind of a good movie.
That was a really good movie.
You know what was also a really good movie? Norbit.
I love Norbit, dude.
Everybody hates on Norbit. Like, if you go on IMDb or you go on Rotten Tomatoes, it's got like a 9% out of 100. It's got like... It's got like a 4.1 on IMDb.
Man, we have a 300-pound weight limit? What are you talking about? I'm 175. And you have to wear a bathing suit when you get into the park?
Yeah, that movie is hilarious. But see, you can't do those kind of movies anymore. Like, you can't make fun of fat people. You can't have racial humor. I mean, you can basically say that white people are evil. Like, you can trash on white people all day now. And honestly, I really don't fucking care. I mean, sometimes the shit they say is right. But I mean, like, you know.
Being a white person, I find myself hating white people more and more every day.
It's because there's plenty of stupid people. But like, here's what I have a problem with. It's like, so one time I was on set for this short film, and I was talking to this other girl, and I believe she was Asian. I think she was Korean or something. But she was just like, you know, I was trying to have like a normal conversation with her. Like, I was trying to be nice, you know, because when you're on set, like, you're there for a really long time. You're there for like 12 hours, you know. So, and if you're not conversating with people, you're just going to be sitting around until someone tells you what to do. And that can be super boring. So, you know, I'm talking to this girl and I'm like, you know, like, I think we were just kind of like talking about movies or something. Like, the conversation didn't last very long. Like, I literally talked to her for like maybe a minute. And like, I was like, oh, you know, like, what kind of movies do you like or something? And she's like, I want more movies with less white male men. And she said it like that in my face. Like, in my face. Like she was kind of like saying like, fuck you, you know. Like, she was kind of like, it wasn't like one of those things where like she's trying to be progressive or like trying to be nice or not nice, because obviously it wasn't nice, but like it wasn't one of those things where she was trying to be progressive or like open the conversation up for something that could have been meaningful. It was more like the way I took it, because of how she said it, was like, we don't need more of you.
Right.
Is how it came off, because she was like, I'm sick of white male lead movies.
Maybe she was one of those girls that participated in one of the films, adult films from Dog Fart Networks, you know?
Those
you know, if every white person was more like that girl, maybe everybody's asshole would be prolapsed.
There's only a handful of people that are gonna know what you're talking about watching this.
And every person who watches this is gonna be our aunt and uncle and being. They're gonna talk to if you talk to my mother about what we say on this podcast, you tell me first. I'm the one saying this. My mother is not responsible for my words. You tell your friends to watch this so we can get more views. Because I'm petty. But I don't want to work in a warehouse my whole life. That's the whole reason for this, right?
All I'm saying, what was I even saying? What I was saying though is like,
the lady and you were having a conversation.
Yeah, she just took it this step far. It would be like, so that is okay. It's okay for her to say that, but if I was to like look at her in the eyes like she did to me and be like, I'm sick of all these Asian females playing leads in these movies. Like, could you imagine, just take the word white out of what some people say nowadays and it becomes incredibly racist.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like...
For sure.
But it does make you wonder. It's like, okay, so...
I think you also... Oh, my bad. Continue.
Well, is this a way of the world, like, trying to, like create equality for, like, all of the horrible things that have happened? Because, I mean, like, if we're really getting into it, like, if we're gonna start condemning people for slavery, like, Now we need to be like, all the Spaniards are assholes because of what they did in South America. And all these people, all the Mongolians are assholes because look what Genghis Khan did. And then look at the Africans enslaving the other Africans or selling Africans to the Europeans to be slaves. Like, everybody's fucked up. Like, every country, every moment, like every big event in history. Like, there's a lot of, I shouldn't say every big event in history, but history is mainly about dividing and conquering. That is the bulk of history. It's always like war and famines and diseases and slavery and mistreatment. Like, it's all fucked up. But it is what it is. There's not a whole lot you can do now to try and right all these wrongs. But there are certain things that people want to pick out and say, you know, like some people say America is built on racism. And like as someone who's taking a history class, I can see where some of that is true. But also, like, I don't want history to just be negatives. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want my life to just be one big complaint or one big negative thing that I say. You know what I mean? Like, I want to look at the positives of things. Like, why can't we make these stories about horrible things? Why can't we try and find some positivity? Or at the very least, like, address things. Like, be like, you know, okay, yeah, not every movie that comes out should have a white male lead in it. Like, we should have more creativity. Like, if you're gonna go down that route, how about we stop making every fucking movie that comes out a sequel, a remake, based off a comic book? Like, why don't we, like, spark some creativity and do something original for one fucking time? How about we talk about that? Not, you know, make it all about race and identity. Like, I think that's a silly thing to... I think it's not that silly. I just think that it's like, it's one of those conversations I'm so bored with. Like, I'm just like, yes, there should be representation in all forms of entertainment. But to just, you know, start saying shit like all white people are evil is like, it's not true. That would be as absurd as me saying like all black people are on welfare.
Well, then, as a white person with negative histories or negative past history, like, I think most people are aware of it, and if you aren't, then your grandpa probably never gave you your ancestral DNA book thing, you know?
Then go on Ancestry.com.
I read this quote the other day in a book, the Wim Hof book. It was like, I'm totally butchering this. I don't think this is the exact quote, but it went somewhere along the lines of this. May the burdens of your past 7 generations and the next 7 generations to come be at peace. Right? So let's find peace with our negativity, you know? Let's stop trying to nitpick people and having your argument come from a place of like trying to dominate the other person, right? Like we all have that. I think a lot of the arguments nowadays isn't coming from a place of we just want to be understood, because if you just wanted to be understood, you wouldn't care if somebody's not listening. You would just be happy to know it's inside of you, and like you wouldn't let any other person sway that opinion. Granted, some people's opinions need to be swayed sometimes. Like, for some of you rural folks, maybe you look in the mirror and see that you need to brush your teeth or something. But you know, I think the whole point of having an opinion is like, it takes a lot of information to sway that opinion, you know? I don't know where I was going. I completely lost my train of thought. This is what happens when you get 5 hours of sleep. You have a really special thought, and then somewhere along your rant, you just lose it. I feel like Kanye West on the Joe Rogan podcast.
Well, I think what you're trying to say I get what you're trying to say. You're trying to say that, like, you find the meaning and understanding of things through yourself. And if someone's too bigoted to understand where you're coming from, you just let it go. But people are inherently tribal, so instead of like trying to talk to people or trying to let things go, you instead have people like setting the Macy's store on fire and people storming the Capitol building. So, this is all tribalism does. Dan does not have the coronavirus, by the way. Or maybe he does, I don't know. Do you have the coronavirus?
No, I just got the... God damn it, what's his fucking name? A Christmas turkey for you.
What are you talking? Are you saying you have the Tiny Tim virus?
That's what I was gonna say. I got the Tiny Tim cold, bro.
Nice.
I haven't eaten in 3 days. Can't you see I'm withering?
Hey,
Subway.
If
you're listening, Subway, you sponsored a pedophile. I'm not a pedophile. I'm a good person. Sponsor me. I will put the message out there for you that people need to eat footlongs.
I gotta grab some water. That's a good message, though.
Thanks, dude. I just want a footlong.
That's
And no, I don't. I know some of you sick fucks out there listened to that last comment and said, he wants a foot long. What is that? Code for he wants a big old fat dick? No, I don't. Not right now. Not ever.
Just want a foot-long sandwich.
I just want a foot long sandwich. Maybe a cold cut combo or what's up?
Yeah, you want Subway to sponsor the podcast?
I don't think they'll ever do that, but I can dream.
You can
I
dream.
can dream.
Why not? Go ahead and dream. You can dream.
Sometimes I dream really horrible things.
Yeah, that happens to a lot of people. I've had terrible dreams. Have you ever had those dreams where like you try and cover your eyes because something scary's happening, but even when you cover your eyes, you can still see what you're trying to like not look at?
Similar, yes.
I had this terrible dream where like I'm trying to like I felt like I was in hell and there was like this giant rock demon like coming after me. He's like, "Rrr," and I'm like covering my eyes. I'm like, no. And then the rock demon's still coming. I'm like, how is this happening?
That's violent. Maybe it's from Rock Raiders.
Maybe. I was playing a lot of Rock Raiders when I was a kid. So, and this was when I had the dream. That was a fun game. Could never beat it though.
I had a nightmare that Pablo Sanchez from Backyard Baseball was trying to shove a baseball bat up my ass.
What the fuck? Is that a real dream or are you just making shit up?
It's a real dream. It's a real nightmare.
What a terrible nightmare, Dan. I do, like, more often than not, end up realizing I am dreaming. So I'll end up dreaming and, like, something bad will be happening. But then I realize I'm in a dream so I can stop whatever bad things are happening. And then my dreams just get kind of boring. Like, I used to get sleep paralysis.
Yup.
And what stopped me from getting sleep paralysis was actually in the dream that I was having where I had sleep paralysis. I used to have this like woman like scream at me or like a fat woman strangle me. And then one time I was like kind of having sleep paralysis and like hopefully this isn't an insight into like my mind. But anyway.
Oh, it totally is.
Oh, it definitely is. I might get in trouble for saying this, but I had this, the last time I ever had sleep paralysis where I actually saw something, because I have had sleep paralysis after this, but I never saw anything anymore. Like, all that stuff went away.
Uh-huh.
But the last time I ever had sleep paralysis was I was having sleep paralysis, and I was stuck in my bed. And I could sense that there was a woman coming down, and every time this woman came down, she would scream at me or strangle me. And then I was like, no, this isn't gonna happen. Like, I'm having sleep paralysis right now. So I was able to get up, and I started walking towards my door. And then the woman stood in front of me, and she screamed, and then I punched her in the face. And then I just like went back to my bed and went to sleep, and then I woke up.
Punch that demon bitch in the face as many times as you want. I shed no judgment.
I've also had one where like a big spider. This is kind of gross, but I had this one where like this giant spider. It was like this big, like a shit you know. It was
Aragon?
it was a big spider. It was like a baby, like Lord of the Rings spider. But anyway, I'm like having sleep paralysis. I wake up and here comes a spider, and I start screaming at it. Like I'm screaming as loud as I can. And then I get up and I grab the spider and I take a big bite out of it. And then I woke up.
Did you teabag it?
No, I ate the spider. Like I literally like in like several bites I ate the whole thing. Like I was just like and I ate it. Would never do this in real life, but I'm starting to realize that if I was like a Indian or I was like some like dude living off the land, I'd probably be a very savage man.
Yeah.
Is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
But that might be coming soon, you know? Let's just continue to let the political divide play out and let people get more tribal and, you know, aggressive and keep defunding the police and keep letting people burn shit down and keep letting people storm the Capitol. And soon enough, we'll all be in dirty underwear hunting each other for meat.
I swear to God, I will break into every Subway that I know of and steal all the chocolate chip cookies. And if they're gone, I'll burn it down.
We might get kicked off of YouTube for you threatening Subway.
I'm not threatening them. This is a promise. If the world ever goes to chaos, your stores are not safe.
You're burning down Subway.
I will steal your cookies. Oh, they just got a nice glimpse of my red underwear, dude.
Oh, it's Conor McGregor. Break out the red panties.
I didn't get laid last night. I had to work. Really pissed me off.
Were you expecting to get laid?
Do be like that sometimes.
Yeah, I think that's just a guy thing. It's like when you go on a date and you like, you know, you're really spruced up. Like you go the extra mile. You spend like, you know, a couple $100 to like go to dinner or something.
Yeah.
Then you go to a movie, like, you know. Isn't it weird that like that sort of like
Shout out to women who put out on the first date. Like, you're just out there doing you. You control the world and all the dick you run into. I didn't really mean that. I have a girlfriend.
I don't know if
I
that's
hope
a
she's not
positive
watching
message.
this right now. If you're watching, honey, I love you. This is just my sick, twisted mind. I'm just getting it out there for the world to see.
Has your girlfriend watched any of the podcasts?
She watches all of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She's our number one supporter.
She's one of 12. 12 people. And half those views are just me, like, just looking over it. Just like, is it still at 6 views?
We should get them all a fellowship ring.
Get them all a fellowship ring. Maybe we can make this podcast an NFT and then sell it for like $200,000.
Put it on Rarible, dude. Who's got the Ethereum token? If you want to support us, drop those Ethereum tokens in the comment, bro. We will take them.
We'll make an NFT. That'd be interesting. I do want to see if I can like make myself what if I make an NFT of us? And then I just put it out on whatever website they sell NFTs. Do you think anyone would buy it?
Absolutely. Some Russian hacker or...
You just gave me such a good idea.
Dude, that's so good.
I think I'm going to dig myself out of poverty now.
Dude, do it. For the love of God, do it. You can split it 60-40, but since you're 70-30, dude, I'll even take 30. I don't care. Somebody buy it for $1 million, please. Get me out of my misery. I'm gonna be dead by the time I'm 30. Let me live the next 5 years of pure bliss.
I think this is a good place to end the podcast, Dan.
I think it is too.
You gotta go make some NFTs.
Shout out to Mark Cuban and the Steve-O podcast. Y'all taught me so much.
All right. Pleasure talking to you, Dan.
A pleasure talking to you, man.
Well done.
Bye.
Bye.